The Tipperary was first published in Harry Johnson's New and Improved Bartender's Manual in 1882. And this drink was suggested by someone on Instagram, and I lost the Instagram post and I forgot to screenshot it, so I'm sorry. But you know what? I thought it was a really good idea. Stop being so juvenile about the name, and let's make the cocktail. In a mixing glass, 2 dashes of orange bitters, and then we're just gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of sweet vermouth, 3/4 of an ounce of green chartreuse, which I gotta tell you that before we were shooting today, I was crying the blues about the fact that I thought we were not gonna have enough to do the cocktails that we had on our list today. And then Marius was out at Vermouth, and guess what he found? Some green chartreuse, so we got 2 more bottles. There are some absolutely fantastic alternatives. I'm gonna make a whole video about it because there's some really good alternatives out there. But I'm also happy that we're not gonna run out of my beloved green chartreuse. And then, last but not least, 1.5 ounces of Irish whiskey. I like to use pot still Irish whiskey, so we're using Powers. It's just gonna be more flavorful. Grab a coupe or cocktail glass, nicely chilled. All right, let's give this guy the old wacky poo. Into the glass, and another one into the glass. Some more ice, and give it a stir. Give it the old strainy poo. Using kind of a higher volume glass today, so we got this nice wash line right here, and then we're gonna give it a nice orange zest and twist. Let's manicure this bad boy, shall we? I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna try it. Whoa! That's good, I like that. Got the sweet vermouth. It's bringing in some of those botanicals. It is green chartreuse dominant. It's the first thing that you taste, but on the back palate, as you swallow the whiskey, the chartreuse and the sweet vermouth give you this little chocolate back palate thing that is really pleasant. Really green chartreuse forward on the front, evolving into this nice, like almost chocolatey goodness on the back. It has a nice balance to it, but it's not super, super, super balanced because that green chartreuse is really dominant. That being said, as far as classic cocktails goes, this is one of my favorites. I really like it. All right, there it is, the Tipperary. My very tiny Tipperary. I should have put it in a Nick and Nora. All right, guys, there it is, the Tipperary cocktail. A fantastic classic cocktail that you should make. Today's pro tip is brought to you by the lack of chartreuse there is in the world. It is really hard to find chartreuse, and not only that, Chartreuse announced like yesterday that they're gonna start making smaller quantities of chartreuse and allocating the distribution worldwide, I guess, which means there's gonna be even less chartreuse. And chartreuse could be the next Pappy Van Winkle. And if that is true, and they're gonna focus more on being monastic monks than they are on making chartreuse, we are all in trouble. But we are not as in trouble as we would have been 10 years ago, because there are plenty of companies that are making some really fantastic, wonderful chartreuse alternatives. The first of which is one of my absolute favorites, is this Faccia Bruto Centerba. It hits all the same notes as chartreuse, but what's nice about it is that you get this little like back palate complexity that is missing in some other alternatives. Then we have the Dolan Genepi. When I was working at Kohl's, we used to call this poor man's chartreuse. This guy is also very much like chartreuse. It's gonna work in every chartreuse cocktail. It's just a little bit sweeter. And then we have the Centum Urbis. My friend Chris Day turned me onto this. The Centum Urbis has a little chocolate, almost like an after 8 dinner mint kind of back palate, kind of chocolatiness, but also has that same chartreuse kind of vibe to it. And it is good enough and it is close enough that you can cut these into chartreuse cocktails and it's gonna work really well. So there you go, guys. Go out and get some chartreuse alternatives for that time where you run out of chartreuse and you can't find it.